so many movements now with so many different fights, but I want to ask about you, and you've been in with these guys. Unlike other fighters that sort of talk about it, you've probably got the best resume out of these 35 and 40 guys, so it's always good to talk to you about these ones. Devin Haney versus Ramirez, New York City, and then I want to talk about Ryan Garcia and Rolly.
Yeah, I sparred Jose Ramirez years ago at the Wildcard gym, but I think this is the perfect fight for Devin. I think Devin will look good, get that confidence even more back, and you know, he'll put on a good boxing, good boxing lesson. I think stopping Ramirez is going to be difficult. He's a tough man. I give him big respect, but I think Devin's going to look good in that fight. Then you got Garcia rolling. Look, as much as I've had my shit back and forth with Ryan, it'll be an interesting fight. Not style-wise, I think Ryan will probably knock him out. I think the lead-up is going to be fun. Rolly's, he loves to talk. He's not very smart. His IQ's not very smart. So I think it's going to be a funny lead-up, and we'll see in the fight. But again, they got history sparring. That always brings confidence. You see the sparring. Rolly look good in the sparring sessions that they put out there. You don't know that they might have an edge on him somewhere. So we'll see.
The rematch. Those two, they're both successful. If they go for a September, October, Ryan and Devin, how would you see that?
Yeah,
and
look,
it doesn't have to happen.
Yeah, I think it's good for the boxing world. There's bad blood. A lot of people would want to watch it. It makes sense, numbers-wise, eyes-wise, revenge-wise for Haney. I think he needs to go back to that. I think Ryan, obviously, going back to that as well. With everything that happened with the weight and obviously the alleged stuff, I think it makes sense for both guys. So why not do it? It's a fight that the world wants to see. So, I'll be tuning in. Yeah.
Fight you tuned in on the weekend, Benavidez versus Morel, 175 unified fight. Benavidez got through that and was successful. Where do you see Benavidez? I know the next question will be around Canelo, but what does Benavidez do at light heavyweight? I know you've got a light heavyweight. Shout out to Amar Katev, who's just been ranked in the top 10 of the Ring magazine. Do you think Benavidez will stay there and unify, or do you think he might go up to cruiserweight?
Look, Benavidez is an absolute beast, man. Explosive, strong. But yeah, Morel did very well as well. He showed. He's only had 12 fights, 13 fights, so he definitely showed a lot in himself as well. It's a great division. The light heavyweight division is an amazing division. Obviously, Imam Katayev, managed by JKSM agents, my father, doing a hell of a job with him. His promotional team doing a hell of a job, and they just keep moving forward with him. But the light heavyweight division is deep, man. Benavidez, does he fight the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol? You'd hope so. I'd love to see.
Who do you like in that fight?
I think Beterbiev gets the job done again. I love Bivol, but I think gets the job done again. If you ever go back to my actual tweet before the fight, I said exactly the way the fight will go. The way I see the fight going now is Beterbiev knows what he has. He knows that Bivol can't hurt him, but he can be hurt. Obviously, Bivol can be hurt, and he's going to run up and move a lot more. Can Bivol do something different in the fight? He's an excellent boxer, but I don't think he can keep a guy like Beterbiev off him. So, look, I'm going to lean to Beterbiev again in a close fight, a hell of a fight again. And then Benavidez, obviously Beterbiev. It's a tongue twister, that one, because they're similar. They're all similar names. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. Obviously, youth, the explosiveness, but then you got that power, that explosive power, that strong, walk you down. That's a good fight. That's a fight I love to watch.
Speaking of explosive power, Canelo versus Terence Crawford at 168. We know both guys have got power. George Crawford spent most of his career at 47 and 40. Had one fight at 54 against Makhachev. Stepping up now to 168 against arguably one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters of all time. September 13th at Legion Stadium. Looks like it's going to happen. How do you see that fight? And is it sort of like a fight that after it we're going to be like a bit like the Charlo one with Canelo, where he was just too big, too strong, and it wasn't a fair fight?
You can never doubt Crawford, man. Crawford is unbelievable. What he did to Spence and what he's been doing. But again, the Madrimov fight got a lot of people obviously doubting him. I think that feeds better for him, and I think that mentally gets him up even more. Again, Canelo's the big fish. He's the guy. 168, strong. We saw what he did with Charlo. Had Charlo obviously running the whole time. And even when Charlo tried, it's just too much for him. Berlanga, the same thing, had him running, caught him beautifully. But again, he never stopped these guys too. He hasn't stopped guys for a long time. So can he stop Crawford? Who knows? Crawford can box unbelievable. You know, the switching, the movement. It's an interesting fight. Is the weight too much? Maybe, maybe not. We have to wait and see. And that's why the whole world wants to see that fight. That's
Do you want to see it though?
I'd love to see it. I think it's
Really?
a hell of a fight because, you know, it's two guys that are megastars. Now, if Crawford pulls this off, you know, you got to cement him as an all-time, like he's already an all-time great, but cement him as, you know, Mount Rushmore in the boxing history. Canelo beats him. Canelo, obviously, still a legend of the sport, and goes on to do whatever else he wants to do, you know. So we'll have to wait and see.
So much talk around Canelo and obviously Crawford, end of the year, back quarter of the year, September. I want to talk about Canelo talking about, you know, or people talking about Canelo and maybe Jake Paul in May. There's all these talks about Canelo fighting in May before he would do the Crawford fight. Does Crawford, does he step up and fight like a 60 or 68 average guy? Does he have to do something like that before he hops in with just to feel that weight at 68?
Maybe, yeah, maybe it makes sense to fight someone around that weight, make a good statement. You always want to, you know, coming into a new weight, you want to feel yourself, introduce yourself in that division, then go into the big name, big fight. So yeah, maybe it makes sense like that. But you know, the promoters and everyone aligned and associated with that fight, you know, will have their plans. So we're gonna have to wait and see for that.
Canelo Jake, a real fight, whether it's at 75, 70, 175 or whatever. Do you reckon is any reality of that fight ever happening?
Man, with the money that Jake Paul, you know, brings in, and obviously Canelo as well, money talks. So definitely,
it's a big fight.
And I bet you everybody will be watching, regardless if Jake gets knocked out in a round or last 12 rounds or whatever happens in that fight. You got to give him props for what he's doing, making money. And you know, Canelo too, he's earned his stripes. Make your money even more. Why not? But you know, I don't know. It could be a lot of, you know, social media all the time is always, you know, hyping things up, saying that he's going to fight this guy, and you know, it's sometimes a lot of cap. I see it a lot all the time. Have to wait and see.
Person who just won all the belts like yourself in the past, and there's not many of you that have done it. You know, I mean, Canelo obviously done it. Jamel Charlo, you know, Crawford doing what he needs to do. But Clarissa Shields over the weekend, I know you were watching that fight.
I don't want to say it.
You thought she was going to stop her?
I had her on the bet. Clarissa, you owe me. I had her on the bet. She was my final one. I got everything perfect. She was my final one to win some nice solid money. Not on a big bet. I don't bet heavy. But it was a nice return with being smart, picking everything right. And when she knocked it down right at the end, I thought she's got it. And somehow this, you know, Daniel Perkins got up, and I thought if that was round maybe 6 or 7 that happened, I think the ref would have stopped it. Or if she had another 20 seconds, she would have, obviously they would have stopped her. But hey, you know what, Clarissa, obviously 4-time undisputed.
Oh,
you know, it's awesome. It's good to see. I know it's women's boxing. There's not like a you know, big league, especially in the heavyweights, but still you got to give her props what she's doing. You know, moving up, she's going to come back down, go again. You know, you give respect to that. So
who does she fight next?
It's the thing. Like it's hard. Who else can she fight?
She spoke about Layla Ali.
Yeah, she's done a lot of good things. And look, she looked impressive too, watching that fight. And give credit to the other girl too. She was tough as, man. Yeah. I really thought she was going to stop her. That's why I had her in that bet. And the shot she took for her to get up off that shot, you know, credit where credit's due. But yeah, Clarissa's good.